Good morning, folks. Casey from Sovereign Homestead Design here. Early start to the day. Time to release Clan McQuacken. And we're going to move their tractor. This is the EMT Conduit duck tractor that we built. It's 180 square feet. Originally it was meant for 12 birds. We thought we were going to just keep them in there the whole time to keep them totally protected from aerial predators, but we've moved to having a week's paddock set up with electronet, and then they get locked in here at night for extra security. But we had doubled the number of ducks that we ordered show up. So, just undo their extra security here, open the door. Okay, girls, let's do it. Now's a good time. It's cool. Let's head outside. Come on. Come on. There we go. It's always a couple that lag behind. Go on, girls. All right, happy ducks out doing their thing. So, quick overview of what's going on here. This is, again, my attempt at tractoring ducks on pasture. There wasn't a whole lot of information, not a whole lot of models out there on this that I could find. So I figured I'd share mine, open it up for critique and feedback, and hopefully to share it with other folks if they're looking to do the same thing. So right now, these EMT Conduit pieces come in 10-foot lengths. We cut these down to basically be 9 feet wide, just so we could get inside the gate over here. Otherwise, I would have left it a full 10 feet wide, and had that extra 20 square feet of space inside. The ceiling would have been a little bit lower, so had to do the math on the arch and all that. Ultimately, I don't think I'd build it again this way. I would do a flat roof or an angled roof, something like that, but I basically did not want to walk in this thing bent over. I've had to do that before in past chicken tending operations, and I was not wanting to do that because we are keeping these birds for eggs. So I'm going to be in here every day picking up eggs. So went with this design. We've got corner braces here to kind of shore things up, one on the floor, one on the side. Didn't really need to bother with this because we're not doing a whole lot of side-to-side moving of this thing. We got a door, we got the latch and the hinges from Colorado Metal Works. I'll try and put a link to that in the description for this video. This whole door will just lift up if you need to. So it's not like uber secure, but for these purposes, it works great. The bottom 3 feet is all hardware cloth, 1/2-inch mesh, and then we got them secured with UV stabilized reusable zip ties. So I can go and pop these off and reuse them, and they are UV stabilized, so they'll hold up here in the high sun conditions. From here on up, we've got chicken wire. So basically anywhere down here where a raccoon could try and reach, they can't get their hand through. Up here, chicken wire is more than sufficient because we're not having birds roosting up high. The ducks sit on the ground overnight. Overnight, I put in 2 tubs. This is, I think a 7-gallon tub and like a 17-gallon tub for their water. They've got 2 feeders, and what's nice with this design, one thing I have enjoyed, one emergent piece, is that you can just hang their infrastructure on the fence. So I just put a wood backer, put 2 hooks on. This feeder trough is made from one of the vinyl gutter pieces you can buy at Home Depot. I think they're 12 feet long a piece, and then you have these little end caps you just stick on, screwed into the wood, so it all comes off like this for easy washing. I'll come in here and blast this out with water using the hose. So outside right here at this line, we've got a quick connect, so I'll just pop a hose in there. That'll get water to the hose, and then I'll use that to clean out their feeder, rinse out their tubs. We'll take these tubs outside, refill them so they have lots of tubs of water during the day. Here's their water. We're using the Rent-A-Coop watering cups that are filled by gravity from their 5-gallon reservoir right here. Same design. We've got a backer board, and we've got the hooks so I can lift this off, dump it up. I really don't ever take it off anymore. It's pretty well self-leveling. We're in a pretty flat field out here, so even if we're dealing with more severe terrain, the water does just kind of find its own level within the cups, and it works great. The cups are very flexible, which is good because when a duck runs into them, they don't break. They just kind of move, or they swivel a little bit. I've got them swiveled in so that, as you saw when you let the ducks out, they don't smack into it all the time. We have some trust issues after the initial brooding time with the ducks, so we're repairing that. This is all kind of like pieced together from scrap I had in terms of the plumbing. This line is actually drip line. We've got a hose clamp on here to make it tight. The barb is a bit too small, but 1/2-inch barb. This is all 1/2-inch pipe, and you can get these from Rent-A-Coop. They're snap-on kit, SNAP. I forget exactly the acronym, but it works great. You basically you drill your holes at your preset intervals, pop on this little kind of brace, and then you screw in the Rent-A-Coop cup. And they've got these braces too to attach 1/2-inch pipe to whatever kind of backing you have. And they also have fittings to attach it directly to hardware cloth if that's more suitable to you. But I like being able to take this on and off, have the flexibility. So that's why I went with the wood backing. Drip tubing coming up. We've got a disconnect if I need to break the line, and an on-off valve. I'll just come here and refill that every day. Fairly simple. Same bracing in the back. This was their a whole weird contraption that maybe I'll do a video on sometime. I don't use it anymore. It was actually a duck bumper, because if you see back here, right here is their dolly. This is inspired on Joel Salatin's design. I'll kick that under the rear crossbar, basically pop this thing up, break the ground contact. The dolly tips down and drags on the ground. It makes it very much easier to move this tractor, which I will film someday when I have a second set of hands out here with me. But what that did is it created like a hazard in here for the ducks. They tend to bunch up against the back, again, because of the fear and trying to rework their handling trauma a little bit. So I had to put this duck bumper down. So basically, it just hangs here on these big strips, but then I would take these, bring it forward, tie it somewhere down here about a foot in front of that diagonal crossbeam, and that kept the ducks off of the tractor wheels. It kept them away from the rear braces, eliminated any pinching hazards, stuff like that. So it worked. It's way easier now that we have the electronet to just move the tractor when the ducks are not in it, which is what I do now, and I highly recommend that versus trying to move the ducks in the tractor. That was one of the obstacles we had to overcome when we thought we were going to keep them in here all the time and move it twice, 2 to 3 times a day. Yeah, this is much better. So we're doing that. What else we got? Just added a few days ago, finally, their outdoor waterer. So we got the secondary waterer, same as the first outside. Reservoir's in here, so it's protected by the shade. Still need to add their shutoff valve. And then this is the most recent addition to replace what used to be a little portable shade shed that we had in the tractor. I would just have to take it out and move it back in every time I needed to move the tractor or wanted to have it outside. So the beauty of building with Conduit is it's very, very flexible. You can kind of do whatever you want. So I've got some 24-inch long pieces of Conduit here. Just had a few extra fittings. Have one piece here, so it's just a nice little rectangle. This is a 8-foot by 4-foot piece of polywall that you can get from Home Depot for like 25 bucks. Had a couple extra pieces from their old house too. So this is one contiguous piece right down here. Goes all the way down to the ground with a little air gap at the bottom. So they can be wind protected from this side. Obviously rain and hail protected on top, and wind protected here too. I may add more, maybe even just a low, like a half low ceiling here, because they like to basically move through that. So leaving the ends open makes it much more free for the ducks to move around. Got a gap there on that side. So it's just a way for them to get out of extreme weather. When we do get heavy winds or, heavy hail, something like that, they can be pretty protected in here. They've got the shade cloth, they've got the chicken wire, and then this will keep them dry if they need to. So I think that's the setup. The only other thing here is their grit tray. Same deal as the others. You got 2 hooks on a piece of wood, vinyl gutter, and there's their grit. And outside the tractor, they have their day use time feeder, which I'm about to go fill up. So same deal, hanging on a wood board, and there's their day use waterer outside. So that's the tractor. As far as the dolly goes, I don't have specific dimensions on this thing. It's taller than me. It's about 7 feet tall up there, so I can walk under it. I'll basically kick the forks under. Again, this is also built out of EMT Conduit, primarily because I don't know how to weld, which, man, would be a great skill to build and develop, but did not have the time and needed to get this solution made, so figured out a way to do it with conduit. There we go. And then basically I'll take this thing, just pull it down like this. So now it just pops the tractor up, and then it's sitting up kind of high because of the nature of the conduit fitting, so it gets kind of stuck on that ledge. So what I'll do is I'll come back, grab my pull cord here, and just pull the edge of the tractor off that. There we go. So when I set it down, I have these two pieces in here as stops, so that keeps the tractor about 2.5 inches off the ground, which is plenty for just breaking ground contact. And then this thing is really easy to move, which again I'll film at another time when I've got an extra set of hands out here. So that's how it looks when it's moving. I'll drag it one length, get them on fresh ground, and that'll be ready for them tonight when they come in. I'm gonna go ahead and get the ducks fed, although they're doing a good job of foraging today before the heat hits. One other piece of infrastructure too, this is their shade sled. So we're out here, not a lot of shade, and it's getting pretty hot. So I built this too. This is 10 by 10, again, EMT conduit, so it's super light. One contiguous 10-foot piece on the bottom, so it basically forms a ski. So it's really easy, really smooth to move across the ground. I mean, I can just push this with one hand, just nudge it, and just slide it wherever it needs to go. So I'll usually put their water tubs underneath this thing, so they have a shaded place to bathe and hang out and rest during the day, and put it wherever I want extra water in the pasture. So I might, get it right next to the cherry tree so we can dump their used water near that. But that's working out really good. They appreciate the shade, and that is the basics of our duck tractor setup. So hopefully that's helpful for some of you out there. I'll have to do another video on things I wouldn't do again the same way, because there's definitely a lot of those. It's been quite a learning experience, but right now the whole system with all its parts is working pretty well for 24 ducks.